We are continuing our discussion with Massachusetts Education Secretary Patrick Tutwiler. We're always glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Wanted to talk with you about a nationwide issue, anti-Semitism, right? Unfortunately, it's been on display recently, even in some of our schools. Over the past few weeks, we know 3 separate cases were reported, including swastikas drawn in classrooms and on a bathroom stall at Weston Public Schools. Officials say the cases do appear unrelated. What is being done at the state level to help address this issue?
Yeah, really disheartened by recent events. I would say from a value standpoint, every student deserves to attend school in an inclusive and welcoming environment and be respected for who they are and how they show up in the world. And certainly when there are departures from that, we are really, really disheartened. We've been working closely with Attorney General Campbell to make sure that school districts understand their legal responsibilities from the standpoint of discrimination and anti-bias, and making sure that their policies are updated, and beyond that, understanding what are the tools and resources that schools can employ to make their schools those safe, inclusive, and welcoming environments. Last year, we released a robust set of tools and data and information to school districts to help them build that out more robustly. You might also know that there's an anti-Semitism commission that's doing work right now as part of a statute. Really pleased that the progress that they're making is very aligned with what this administration has already done and continues to do. I'd also say that related to that, one important piece is that Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed has put out for public comment a rubric to help districts better evaluate curriculum and instruction materials, professional development, to make sure that it is free of anti-Semitic influences and anti-bias influences. And so we look forward to employing that after that has gone through the public comment period. But the bottom line is we want to make sure that schools are safe, inclusive, and welcoming environments, and we're putting our best effort toward that end.
We did talk about absenteeism earlier. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about immigration crackdowns. We know it's provoking fears for so many students and their families, especially at the end of last school year. Have you seen that impact attendance? I mean, what have you been seeing in terms of attendance when it comes to that?
Yeah, so I will say it's difficult for us to put our finger on that particular influence on absenteeism because schools do not collect immigration or citizenship information. It's not required for any public school in our country. So it's hard to say that this particular student is undocumented and this particular student is not. I will say the common sense application here, we saw an increase in absenteeism in communities where there are large numbers of undocumented families. Last year, that has continued into this year. I will tell you, as the former superintendent of the Lynn Public Schools, which is home to large numbers of families from the Northern Triangle, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, communities like that saw significant challenges related to the ICE presence. And again, schools need to be welcoming and inclusive environments. We want students in school. Every student has a dream of getting to a place in their lives, and school is the most predictable road toward that end. And we want to make sure that students are having that opportunity to be there, and really worried about students who are not attending for fear.
Well, thank you for answering that. We do have to talk about AI.
Sure.
Because everyone's talking about AI. We're all looking at it, right? It's everywhere. There are concerns that students may use it to cheat and that it might make their college degrees obsolete in the future. How is the state making the tech work for students and teachers?
Yeah, great question. And it is here, and there's lots of conversation about it. We're thinking about it very strategically. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed announced last year sort of 3 buckets of work around the AI element. First is to think about how can we support districts with model policy around the use of AI in their school districts. That was released earlier this fall. Then we're thinking about how do we help teachers more robustly and more substantively use AI as an instructional tool. We're building that professional development out now. And then we want to think about where do we teach about AI? Where should it land in curriculum frameworks and in our standards? And that process is ongoing to develop a thoughtful strategy for implementing AI as something that is taught in schools. We're one of the only states in the country, actually the only state in the country, that's piloting an AI curriculum by Project Lead the Way in 30 districts, which does exactly that, provides students information about what is this, how is it used and applied in our world, and then what are some of the ethical considerations that we want to think about. Look forward to the outcomes from that, but we feel proud that we're the state that was chosen to sort of think more robustly about how this shows up in the education space.
Yes, and to stay on top of it, because it is moving so fast, and you have to kind of keep up with it, right?
That's right.
Let's talk about preparing students for the future and jobs in the future, right? It's a priority. We know many of the state's vocational schools, they're at capacity. What's the plan to make sure students have access to career and technical education?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. We know if we look back the past 20 years, we've seen increases, double-digit increases in enrollment in our career tech ed schools. There's not one that doesn't have a wait list, to your point, right now. And Governor Healy is very well aware of this. We've got a plan to reimagine high school to create more relevance, more sort of career-connected learning, more work-based learning in the high school experience, which is why students are going to career tech ed schools. But beyond just having that vision, we really put our foot down, put our money where our mouth is. There was a $75 million proposal in the governor's budget. The legislature, and appreciate their partnership, upped that to $100 million to create expansions in our career tech ed schools. This will result in 3,000 additional seats over the next 3 years, which we're excited about. And we're also expanding our innovation career pathways. These are very closely aligned with the career tech ed experience, but they exist in your traditional comprehensive high school, work-based learning, opportunity for internship, opportunity to take a college course, aligned with a high demand industry. We're right now in 30% of the high schools with plans to deepen that. And so we are answering the call. Students have been asking for this for years, and they're really robust and substantive steps that we're taking to respond.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
All right, we asked you a lot of questions here. We're gonna give you a light one because we just, in 30 seconds or less, before we wrap up, can you share a moment of joy or a win that you're celebrating right now?
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time, we were talking during the commercial break, that I spend a lot of time in communities, at schools, with families. And I will tell you, every opportunity I have to step into a classroom, to see the wonderful instruction that's happening, to see the joy on students' faces as they're engaging with one another, engaging with the teacher, engaging with the material. That for me is the hopeful space, and I feel grateful that I have so many opportunities to see that. Our state is the best state for education, and I see it on display every time I'm out and about.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure's all mine.
And sharing this important information we all need to hear. So thank you, thank you.